because that really is going to be part of the editing and revising process that you're going to be doing in Module 3. So there's your readings and your viewings. And then really for Module 2, the two main things that you're going to be working on is a discussion board and then getting started with your observations. So the discussion board for Module 2 is about the different psychological theories. You're going to see a lot of names that you have noticed before, and you're probably going to see some new ones. So just make sure that you read through exactly what it is that you're supposed to do. Please don't forget that you have to respond to at least 2 of your classmates in order to receive full credit, and a response is not "I agree" or "great post." That will actually get you no points for responding. But remember, the only way that we are able to communicate with each other are through these discussion boards. So really start to think about, how would I have a conversation with this person if I was sitting right next to them in a traditional classroom. So it really is meant to be kind of a back and forth exchange, which is why I always encourage you, do not wait until the day before to post your own post as well as respond to other people, because there will be no interaction on that. You'll get credit, but you're not taking as much away from it as I would hope. So the only other thing you see on here are the observation journals. So I'm going to back up a little bit, because really what I need to do is help you understand what you're going to be doing for this course. So in Module 1, I really wanted you just to get familiar with the course, with each other, with the textbook, and to start thinking about where you would be able to complete your 40 hours of observation. So let's spend some time talking about this observation requirement. So this course requires 40 hours of classroom observation in a K-12 classroom. So that means anything from kindergarten through 12th grade. If you are in my program, which is the early childhood program, most of the time we have spent looking at the infant through the 5-year-old, the preschool ages. Those cannot be used for this course. It has to be from kindergarten and above. There's multiple reasons for that. One of them is this is considered a transfer course. So if you are moving on to a 4-year university, this actually counts as a content course, not as an elective. And so it has to be a K-12 classroom. The second reason is because the early childhood program is NAEYC accredited, and so we have to be able to demonstrate that our students are observing children and students of all ages. So that's why it has to be kindergarten and above. Now, how you are able to do this is really going to depend a lot on your own schedule, and really kind of what you're most interested in. So keep in mind 40 hours. It does not matter how quickly you get it done. If you're able to knock them out in 2 weeks, well then fantastic. If you need 6, 7, 8 weeks to get it done, that's totally fine as well. Really all I care about is that you get the 40 hours done. So there's several ways you can go about doing this. If you are interested in a private school, you can complete your hours in a private school. Normally, you would actually contact them directly to find out if it was possible to complete your hours in one of their classrooms. But keep in mind, one of the hardest things is that we are at the end of the academic school year. So some schools may say that they just aren't having students come in to do observations, because I don't really know how much teaching is going on at the end of the school year. So that would mean you would need to find out if they actually have a summer school. Keep in mind, summer school and summer camp are 2 completely different things. You can do your observations in summer school. You cannot do your observations in summer camp. And the reason is because summer camp does not have the instructional times that summer school does. The entire purpose of this class is for you to observe teachers actually teaching. So you can learn from them what you want to do, what you don't want to do, how it works with the class, how the class works together. So summer camp does not work. Summer school does work. So some private schools are having summer school, and they may be doing it in person or virtually. That is definitely something you would have to check into. Another option you have is doing it in the public schools. Now, if you look in these are in the modules. This is before module 1. You're going to see that I have put in a school system placement request, and there are some different things that you're going to need to read about before you make a decision. For most of the public schools, their summer school doesn't really start until the end of June, and that's because they don't actually get out of school until the middle of June. So that would mean that you're going to have about 4 or 5 weeks to get your observations done. As of now, the only school district that I know of that is not doing summer school placements is Virginia Beach. I have reached out to all of the school districts to find out who is and who isn't. And so Virginia Beach is the only one who has come back and say, no, we're not doing it. So that being said, the ones that I have heard back from have given me certain guidelines and some information that I'm sharing with you. So Chesapeake is having summer school, and they are allowing placements. And so if you look farther down, you're going to see that I've actually attached the placement request forms. For Chesapeake, you need to fill out the form, put in if you have any special requests like grades or particular schools. Then you need to send it back to me because I have to sign it and send it to HR. Suffolk is going to be having summer placements. Theirs is going to be a little bit different because theirs is going to be more hybrid, which means that there is probably going to be some online components. So if you're interested in that, then their placement request form is also listed below. Portsmouth also is having summer placements, and then I've given you all of the information that they have given me. I have not heard back from Norfolk yet, but in the past they have had summer school placements. So you just need to decide what's going to work best for you. One of the things that you're going to want to keep in mind is that if they are conducting summer school face-to-face in a school, then you have to be there in order to get your hours counted. So really what I want you to do is start thinking about what's going to be the best way for me to complete these hours. Again, it doesn't matter to me how fast or how slow you get them done as long as they get done. So if, and this is a huge if it does not look like either one of those is going to work, you're going to need to let me know so we can decide what's going to be the best course for you. Like I said, this is a course that requires the 40 hours. You can't do anything. You can't do a different assignment to take the place of it. It has to be done in order for you to pass the class. I have not had a problem with students getting into a school. You take away last summer because last summer really doesn't count. But getting into a school has not been difficult, and teachers have been really flexible with having students in their classroom. So be thinking and start doing some research and start sending me placement request forms as soon as you can. Ideally, you want to complete your hours in a classroom. The alternative method that we have is not nearly as robust as the way that it's always been done in the past. It is definitely a workaround for when school districts don't have a placement that they can give to a student. But I really want you, if at all possible, to be able to get into a classroom. So once you have received your placement, then there's a couple of things that you're going to be doing while you are actually in the classroom. And one of the big ones is you're going to be completing journals. So if you click on observation journals, you're going to see that it's going to take you to a page that it is set up as quizzes, simply because it's the only way that you can do a journal in Canvas. This is the explanation for it. But you're going to have 8 different topics that you're going to be writing journal entries about. And again, this is why it's so important to be in a classroom. If you look at these topics, they should look very familiar to you because they really kind of revolve around what it is that I asked you, what you thought about in your first draft of your teaching philosophy. There is a method to the madness. So what I'm wanting you to do is, as you are doing research about it, as you are getting into a classroom, you are starting to evolve your own philosophy. So each one of these journals is set up exactly the same. And I'm going to tell you the easiest way to make sure that you get a really good grade on these journals. So I'm going to click on the first one, which is physical classroom environment. And like I said, it's going to take you to a quiz, where all you're going to do is you're just going to copy and paste your response into a submission box. Like I said, there is no journal capability on Canvas, so this was the best way that I could work with this. But every journal is going to follow the same format. So 3 paragraphs, and I'm not talking like 3-sentence paragraphs. I'm talking these need to be pretty substantial. The first paragraph is always going to be, what does the research say about this particular topic? So if I'm looking at the physical classroom environment, then what I want to know is, what is the research saying about the importance of the physical classroom environment? What is the research saying about how we should have it set up? What kinds of materials should we have? So your first paragraph is your scholarly paragraph. Your second paragraph is going to be, what did you observe in the classroom that you're in regarding physical classroom environment? How is that classroom set up? So you're basically, you are reporting so that I can see exactly what it is that you saw. And then the third paragraph is really the analysis and reflection. So based on what you researched, based on what you saw, what do you now think about the physical classroom environment? What are you going to implement in your own classroom environment? How did the teacher that you are observing, how did they do with their physical classroom environment? So you're going to notice that I'm trying to help you not only with your teaching philosophy, but it's also going to be a huge part of your observation reflection paper that you're going to do at the end of the semester. So my advice to you is, do the hard work of putting the time into your journals, because it's going to save you a tremendous amount of time at the end of the semester. So it doesn't matter what order you do these journals in. So you absolutely can choose what order you want to do them in. Some days you may not feel like you're seeing what you want to see. But basically, the best thing that you can do is, when you go into a classroom, just take tons and tons and tons of notes. You could even kind of set up a notebook where you've already given each one of these topics a page, and then that way you can just be writing, which means that once you are ready to type them up, it's already kind of written itself. Again, my suggestion is type these journals in Microsoft Word and then just copy and paste it into the submission box for the journal or the quiz. If you do that and you save all of your journals, you can either do it as a running document or you can save each one separately. You will have already written 95% of your last paper. So that's why I'm saying, spend the time now. Take the time to do these well, because it's going to save you so much time in the future. So that really is the main thing that you were doing while you were in the classroom. So I have given you an exemplar that a student has done before, just so you can kind of see what I am looking for. Most people, their journal entry is around a page. So, I mean, we are not talking that you're writing a dissertation on each one of these. And some of these may be longer than others because your teacher did a lot or you found a lot of research. There is no word limit. I have always been the type of teacher who said, write until you're done. I don't want filler, but I want really good substance. So take the time to find the research about the topic. Take the time to be very detailed about what you saw in the classroom, and take the time to analyze and reflect. Again, you are going to find that this is going to carry over to multiple assignments. The only other thing that you really need to keep in mind is you do need to keep track of your hours on this log sheet. It needs to be signed each time that you observe, and at the very end, when you're done with your 40 hours, then you will submit it through Canvas so that the college has a record that you completed it. When you get a placement, there is an observation plan worksheet that you can fill out, and it just lets me know that you've contacted the teacher and this is when you're going to get your hours done. So that's a lot of information within the observation, but I just wanted to make sure that you were really, really comfortable with the material relating to the observation. So again, if you have exhausted all resources, please let me know and we'll see if there's something that we can do to work things out so that you can still get your hours done. But please know that I absolutely prefer for students to be in a regular classroom. It is the best way and it's the only way to get what is really happening in education right now. So that is a lot of information, but like I said, I really wanted it to be where you felt like you knew what you were doing going in. You weren't asking questions as you were going. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. That is what I'm here for. And I really want this course to be as practical and helpful and useful for you as you are starting on your journey to becoming a teacher. So I will be working on getting the feedback on your teaching philosophy so that you kind of know if there's anything that you want to change as you are looking forward when we get to Module 3. But really for this module, concentrate on the information, seeing where we came from, where we're going, but really getting a head start on getting your observation placement. So, like I said, this is a 2-week module. So next week, you'll just get an announcement that says, hey, keep up the good work. Don't forget that your discussion board is due by the end of the week. But I won't have another video for you until we get to Module 3, where we will continue moving on, looking at all different aspects of education. So have a great week, have a great module, and I'll see you in Module 3.